What's up with y'all boys, ladies? About to get into this DSP video, man. Break down this madness that we have to witness on a daily basis. So let's get into it.
Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Tuesday, the 3rd of June, 2025. Now, admittedly, today was kind of a weird day because today we were playing fighting games on a day when normally I wouldn't, because we're not doing Friday night fights this week. And this was kind of a weird middle of the week, counting down to the release of the Switch 2 and Mario Kart kind of day. It wasn't, really hype scheduled games. And because of that, today kind of sucked. All right. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give it to you like it is. I'm going to tell you why today sucked. So here's what happened today. We started off today with a level 1 podcast, excuse me, where we talked about a couple of interesting topics that I knew that people wanted me to discuss today because there was some timely stuff that actually happened. First off, Witcher 4 had a tech performance demo release over, I guess it was an Unreal like conference or convention or something like that, where all the devs who were making games with Unreal Engine were showing their stuff off. And so CD Projekt Red was one of the big ones, and we watched the whole thing and I reacted to it on the podcast. So that was definitely something that was interesting to watch. And that was timely because it just happened today. So I was able to do it pretty much live. But then we had to talk about the future of Blueprints, which sadly, as you know from yesterday, is doing horribly. It's not working as a late stream, and now sadly, it's failing as a day stream. So we came to a quick determination. I am going to attempt to do one more stream of Blueprints, and if it does decently, I'll keep it in the rotation. If it tanks again, we're done.
Look how crazy that is, man. He said, think about if you are a true DSP watcher and you watch him unironically, and you've been supporting this 40 plus hour playthrough or play till, because we know he doesn't play anything through anymore. He plays until he doesn't get enough money. But you've been invested in this thing financially and maybe even narratively. You've been paying attention to the story. And what are you? A couple $100, $1,000 deep, and you can't even see the thing all the way through. Cause he's so moment to moment with it, day to day with his finances, that he can't even look at it holistically and say, look, I made this much money on it. The least I can do is finish it. How much money do you have to make in order for the game to be worth finishing? This is crazy.
And it sucks because after all the amount of gameplay that we've played, that's a really hard decision for me to make. But I want you to tune in, watch the podcast from this morning, and you'll see why we came to that determination. Okay. We didn't actually even have time after those two things that we did to look for wheels and pedals for PC for future driving streams like Truck Sim. So we'll probably end up doing that tomorrow morning on the show. Okay. So after that, we jumped back into Clear Obscure Expedition 33. Now you remember we had come to an agreement, and the agreement was that we are just going to finish the story of this game. We're going to get to the end, and then at the very end, we're going to see, does it make sense to go do more side content, but we're just going to try to finish it, because at this point, we're over 50 hours in, and the attendance and support is dwindling. 2 streams ago, I think I made like 30-something dollars on the stream. And then last time, because I had brought up, oh man, I don't want to retire the game, I want to beat it, we actually had a rallying, and a bunch of people came to that last Claire Obscure stream and supported it, so we did well. This morning was the worst stream of Claire Obscure, and the worst stream that I have actually done in about a year and a half. I think the last time I had a stream this dead were the night streams when I was playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth almost 2 years ago. All right? Attendance was abysmal. We had less than 150 people on YouTube and only.
Tell me that's not music to your ears, man. Attendance was abysmal. And this is the part that he's missing about the the turn-based game that he's playing. I forget the name of it. Obscure, whatever it is. He is so extreme with his thought process. It's very binary. It's either this or that, right? He don't understand how the truth is usually somewhere in the shades of gray, right? It's usually in the nuance, right? He thinks that people are upset because he's just doing a story, or people are upset just because he's just doing the side content. No, dummy. They want the game to be interwoven between the story and the side quests in a way that makes sense in terms of its pacing. It's up to you as the entertainer to determine that shit. But again, we find ourselves at pit road with this dude where he's throwing his hands up because once again, he doesn't know what to do. But what else is new?
Only about 40 to 50 people on Kick. So one of the lowest attendance streams I've ever had ever in my life. Okay. Then the support was non-existent. Like, no exaggeration. We raised about 16 to 20 bucks on the podcast. Guess how much we raised during 3 hours of only story of Claire Obscure? $7.
I want you to look at his body language. Look at his posture. Look at his aura. Look how he's looking at you like you owe him something, like he's disappointed in you that you didn't give it to him because it belongs to him. Don't you understand? That's not your money. That's Phil's money. And the whole reason why you're here is to give it to him, not to sit back and play the game and have all these social interactions, the bullshit he be talking about. It's for you to give him money. Duh. Look at him. The guy looking at you. He's disgusted.
For 3 hours of gameplay. Okay? Now, here's the thing. There are people who are watching Clear Obscure on demand, but sadly, this is just not translating into support outside of the views on demand. And I feel like, sadly, this is a playthrough where the people who like it are watching it on demand. They're not coming to the streams. I mean, there were some people who were engaging on the streams. It was like 10 people. It was like 5 people on the YouTube side and 5 people on the Kick side. Okay?
um, Phil, that's par for the course for your streams, man. Most of the people in your chat, almost all of the people in your chat are LARPers, bro. Trolls. Let's be real about it. Stop it, okay? It's always 5 people on Kick or 5 people on YouTube or one person acting like 5 people on either of the damn chats. All right. The other day you went to this long ass monologue about how each game you play has a different group, and it's like, man, stop, bro. But once again, it's the same guy that came up with the king snake idea. And this is the problem when you don't have real interactions with real people. You don't get to bounce your ridiculousness off of other people. So somebody can show you a damn mirror and say, nah, man, that don't make sense. And I do plan on doing my take on the whole king snake epidemic this guy was on. He's fucking crazy.
So, obviously, this really sucks because I already had a really bad stream of Blueprints the day before. So now we're talking back-to-back terrible streams for engagement and support. That's not good. So, what do? Well, I mean, we're in the end game. I'm basically a few minutes away, likely, from beating Act 2 and then getting into Act 3. And people are saying the story of Act 3 will probably take me 2 streams. And then the game is done. Or that means skipping all the side content. But people are saying the best content of the game is the side content at the end of the game, and it means I have to skip it because no one will show up and engage and support with this playthrough anymore.
Yes, Phil, because you beat the side content into the fucking ground, man. You spent 2-3 hours, 2-3 streams trying to fight a boss that was over leveled. Like you on stream grinding. What are you doing? That's just not fun. That's just not interesting. People showcase what the outcome is after they got done grinding. They might show you how to grind, but why would you showcase the actual grinding? You think because you're enjoying it by default, somebody else should be too? That's not how this works. But we know Phil don't understand these things because he oftentimes will put out questions to the internet and expect a consensus. The guy that's been on the internet for 20 years throws his hands up when people give him different feedback, even though he threw one question at a crowd of 300 something people. But everybody should be a monolith, right? This dude's a clown, man.
I don't know what to do. I have no solutions. We already said that we were going to play.
I gotta jump in real quick. Hey, you hear him? I don't know what to do. I don't have any I don't have no solutions. Imagine saying that after doing this for 20 years. Could you imagine taking your car to a mechanic that's been doing it for 20 years, and he says, I have no solutions. You'll probably look at him sideways like, what you talking about? You have no idea? Or I mean, any profession for that matter. Anybody doing something for 20 years, you expect them to have a certain level of understanding, a base level of understanding of things. You should be able to bounce simple stuff off them, a mechanic about an oil change, how to change a tire. Phil should understand these things. Why doesn't he understand these things? He's too dent dependent. That's the problem.
To the end, but just the story. I guess that's what we're doing. It just seems like every time I play this game, we're going to have no one show up, and it's going to be a dead stream of people complaining that I'm playing this game still. I just don't understand it. I really don't. Why people liked the game for a month and now they don't. Or on top of that, why people just have no attention span anymore. Because you notice it's every lengthy game that doesn't work anymore. Anything longer than 15 to 20 hours and it's not multiplayer, people freak out and hate. I just don't get it anymore. I don't. As a gamer, it's part of my gaming life and culture. Longer games make sense, especially when you're playing an awesome game that has tons of story and content and is getting better and better. And that's what's happening with Claire Obscure. Like, I'm leveling up and we're fighting tougher bosses and things, but it's just not enjoyable when no one's there along for the ride with me.
Well, you're retconning things right now, which you often do. Like you will, if you, according to Phil, over the course of the stream, you're just having a grand old time. You're just along for this great and beautiful and wonderful ride. But that's not the case when you actually tune into the stream. He's snarling at the camera. He's scanning hard as fuck, looking at the chat for tips to come in. If they don't come in, he gonna raise the temperature around this motherfucker. Y'all know how he get. He turn into a whiny little brat when things don't go his way. And you don't understand how people are not interested in watching you play this shit some more. Why are you so inefficient at this? You've been doing this for so long. Why does it take you so long to finish basic tasks, bro? I'm a variety streamer. No, you are on this rat wheel because you are not astute enough to do anything at a high level. So you rely on this gimmick of having all these different tools in your tool shed, some that you may understand a little bit, some you don't understand at all. You have an over reliance on your tools, man. When the skill set really should be coming from your hands and from your mind. You're pathetic.
You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna lie. The first stream literally sucked. No one showed up, no one engaged, and no one supported, and it's the worst stream I've done in a year and a half. Then the night stream tonight, because I couldn't do fighting games Friday night, which you guys have been enjoying and supporting recently, Friday night fights. I wanted to do them once this week. So I said, let's do it on Tuesday night just to mix it up and break up the week. So we did more Capcom versus SNK 2. Now, admittedly, I will say this. Sadly, the matches were laggy.
Now you know what he's going to complain about. The same thing he always complains about when he plays fighting games and things don't go his way. Lag, patterns, dropped inputs, yada, yada, yada. The same song and dance. We know how this movie ends. We've seen it a million times. It's the same old song and dance with Phil. And of course, he's going to project and say things didn't go his way because Capcom did this to the game, or because the player he playing did this or did that, because he lacks the ability to be introspective. He refuses to look at himself, and I believe he refuses to look at himself because he don't like himself, bro. And I'm a close with this because I got to make the video, hit the YouTube limits. A lot of detractors be looking at Phil and they say, "Man, when is he gonna get his?" And they get frustrated. Listen, bro, everything is not about money. If you listen to me right now, chances are Phil probably makes more money than you. Phil makes more money than me. But I guarantee you, none of us would want to switch places with him. So everything is not about money, bro. Some people are so damn poor that all they have is money. And that's a Bob Marley quote. That's not me. I'm not that smart. All right. And if it wasn't Bob Marley, one of you brothers can correct me. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Peace.